I told you guys the other day that it was the coldest day of the year. Today is the coldest day of the year. Well, I guess I could have been right both times. Today is the cold. Here, let me spin this around just a bit firm, and that, if you look close, you can see the blowing snow. That's still at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, minus 11 before that wind. It never did warm up. Like the last week when we trained on the Wednesday, it was cold. But by 10:30 or 11, it wasn't bad. Thursday, Friday was cold, but no wind. Sun was out, so it wasn't too bad at all. Today, no sun, lots of wind, lots of snow, and my feet are still frozen. I haven't been on the track for an hour. So, we had 30 trained today. Now, I told everybody, I'm going to expand on this week and explain to everybody what we're doing. It's now February the 13th, right? So let's say it's February 15th. 2 weeks till March 1st. March 1st is pretty much when we start taking the corks off. Mid-March, usually around there. Soon, the track starts to soften up and loosen up and no more cork. So, last year, if I remember correctly, there wasn't too many frigid cold days, so there wasn't a ton of frost in the track. What happens, especially at this track, is when the frost comes out, both turns get really, really muddy. Can't really train. If you had like a week of sun and plus 8, 10, be awesome. That would be perfect. That would be a perfect thing to happen this year. So where we're at right now is a number of horses training really good. Some of them getting on the right line, some of them getting on the left line. Usually after 5, 6, 7 weeks of training with corks on a harder track, they'll do this. And I can't stress this enough for people out there that say, oh, well, isn't it so much better to be in Florida with that, very soft clay track? Yeah, it's great. Then when you go to really push on them in July and August, you can again, of course the phone's ringing, you can start getting those lines and lameness that you may see in February here in the cold. I truly believe that. Now, I guess it's fair to say, yeah, Anthony, you haven't trained in Florida, you don't know. You're right, I haven't. I wish I had. It's cold here. But I can see the same issues happening. You can defer them, I suppose, but you can't hide from them. So I think what I'm getting at is the things that we would see in June, July, August of the maturity of these 2-year-olds, we start to see it a little bit more in February and March here in Canada. Maybe that is wrong, but these are still 2-year-olds. They still will mature. Concussion helps the bones strengthen up, but at the same time, too much concussion on young bones, and you get cracks. So we haven't had any cracks this year. We have had some OCDs removed, same as every barn. Those aren't really the same type of things. Those are calcium deposits from most of the time when they're young. Once in a while, you'll see a little OCD fragment rattle off that you got to pull out, like we saw with Miss Mildred. Now, we had 3 horses to the vet this week. Procrastinator, a little rough around the edges, nothing too serious. Good. We can keep going with him. His stifles are open, some roughness on them. Really not that shocking. I guess we're just going to keep working him until the corks come off, and then we'll push. Trained him today in 245. He was okay. He was fine. Second horse we sent over yesterday was Blue Bayou Dio. Great news. Completely clean. A little surprised, but completely clean. A dirty splint right front. Now the little one's in weird places that are close to ligaments and tendons. Those are the ones that hurt. She had a little what they call a little button splint, I guess, inside the splint bone right front. Could be the reason I see that right line. I thought maybe it was right hind ankle, but I was wrong. Just a dirty little splint right front. The vet thought that was the culprit. Cryoed that. She's going to get a week of jogging. No big deal. That's fine anyway. Now, Hill of Magic. The problem I had with Hill of Magic was there was no consistency there. She wasn't consistently on the line. In fact, she'd switch leads sometimes. You'd be on the right line on Wednesday and the left line on Saturday. To me, that screams knees and or feet. We had already addressed her feet with the application of the flip-flops on them, which may help the knees also, but still saw that inconsistency. When she'd start out going a faster mile, she'd be over on the right shaft. Was she hitting? I thought she could have been, but I thought there could have been something in that left hind. There was a little tiny OCD left hind ankle. Now, the vet had said to me, geez, I don't know if it needs to come out. Right away, I had talked to her about it. I overruled her. I said, no. I said, I see left front, right front, left hind. And I think left hind is the trigger. Now, the trigger being, what I mean by that, to the vet, she understood, but for you, you may not. The trigger meaning you're going to find, and it was prevalent, you're going to find the issues in the right front, I believe, come from the left hind. So if you're taking weight off of that left hind, you're going to be putting it on the right front. So she said her knees were open, little more reactive on the right than the left. So this tells me that it isn't the right that's the trigger, it's the left hind. So what we're going to do is take that OCD chip out. We were very, very lucky. An open spot, a spot opened up Monday morning, on a holiday nonetheless. Monday morning for the University of Guelph. Hill of Magic is going to go up there early Monday morning and be at the clinic, be at the university, take that chip out Tuesday morning. Now this is important. As that chip's healing, usually it's 2 weeks, as I said, generally for us, for a run-of-the-mill OCD, 2 weeks in the stall, a week of walking in the jog cart, and then start back. This filly, we're going to give 2-3 weeks in the stall, some walking in the jog cart. The reason being, I'm not concerned with that chip. It means nothing to me. That chip is an innocent bystander, so to speak. I wanted her knees to cool down and solidify. Time will do that. So if we need time, take that OCD out. And let her knees cool down and heal up. So that's fixed. In a month, it'll be back to going for Hill of Magic. So 2 weeks in the stall, maybe 3 weeks in the stall, a week of walking in the cart, and then start back jogging and training. What we found last year is this really didn't slow anybody down. The horses that we had OCDs removed were still ready in the same time frame. So there is an opportunity to give time off to the horses. So expanding on that, what we're planning on doing is any horses that are on a line for any particular reason that isn't completely obvious to us, a cut, jumped on their foot, something of that nature, any horse that's on a line, we're going to just jog them for the next 2 weeks. Why? Because when they're done jogging for 2 weeks, it'll be time, hopefully, for the corks to come off. Not only will we let their knees and other joints and other body parts mature, cool down, relax, but we'll also be killing time so we can get those corks, which do pose a little bit of a problem, get them off those horses so the next time we push, it will be cork free. So that's the plan for us. We want to be back with no corks on March 1st. We're going to be keeping an eye on the weather, but really, truthfully speaking, the only downside of that is the drone's kind of going to suck if we do it next week, because there's going to be a lot of horses that are not in the drone sets. We went with a lot more today, and I paid very, very close attention. Which ones were on a line? Which ones are running in, running out? Do those horses need some time? If I even thought the answer was yes, then they're going to get it. So what we've whittled it down is from a grouping of 47, 30 today, down to probably 20 next week. So we're still happy to bring the drone videos to you guys. And we'll continue to bring you content also. I mean, I was surprised a little bit, but looking back at it now, I shouldn't have been, how well the top 10 videos went over from our other trainers. Somebody had asked me a great question on one of our question lists, was why don't you talk to the trainers about the 3-year-olds? Happy to. Now, problem is that they've only been one fast mile, so it's a little unfair. From what I saw, I think it's just an extension of last year. I don't think anybody has come out, swinging at the farm. I can't say, geez, we stopped and watched this horse train. The horse trained so good. I haven't seen any of those training miles yet, but I'm not worried about that. I mean, as long as No Free Lunch grows into a bigger, stronger version of his 2-year-old No Free Lunch, great. Adrenaline Rush, same type of thing. Tipsy and Dixie, same type of thing. Walk on the Moon. These are horses I'm watching, but they're all at different stages, right? Walk on the Moon's trained back once, whereas Tipsy and Dixie's been training. Harry took over. We had 20 horses trained, 22 horses train at Mohawk for the first time. And when they come back, Kevin said, I need 10 more days. I need one more training trip at Mohawk. Perfect. Not a problem at all. Harry said, geez, Captain's Maid's going to need 2 weeks. I assumed she would. He said, I really think they're going to need one more fast training trip and a qualifier, maybe maybe 2, which is understandable. 6, 7, 8 weeks, 6 weeks now, 6+ weeks without any big track fast miles. It plays a role. It just does. You can't just go out and snap them the bike and go racing speed with them. You're going to pull up and say, geez, this horse doesn't feel that good. There's a reason they practice and play baseball every day and play hockey multiple times a week and basketball and football, because you can't be at that high level and not put the work in. It is impossible. You get out of this game what you put in, and that is on almost every facet of horse racing. So, I'll go through the trainers right now. So let me make sure I got this all clear first. So the babies, we're going to give a number of horses are just going to be in jogging. Now, the only horse I can tell you that just isn't training because she's too good right now is Bomb Hugger. And you can take out of that whatever you want. She went from, why is this filly making breaks, to, oh my dear God, this thing can fly. Like that. And it did not take long. It took a week. She's already had the work in beforehand, so she was physically at the same stage as everyone else. And then once it all clicked together, now there isn't a horse in the training center who wants any part of this build. She just felt really, really, really good. So just going to give her 2 weeks because she needs to simmer down. She doesn't need to be at racehorse ready in February, I can tell you that. So I don't know the exact number. I'm going to say it's probably around 25 that we're just going to say just 2 weeks of straight jogging, light jogging, just to let their joints cool down. If they're starting to get on a line now, I truly believe the corks play a role. The concussion on the track plays a role, and that's a good thing. But, and I say this all the time, and people can take it as a stupid cliche if you want, but as I say all the time, when the horses are talking, you better listen. If that horse is getting on the line a little bit more, running in, running out, in an inconsistent manner. Voyage of Ice and Fire always runs in, 2 poles on the left. I think that will dissipate, but I don't see him running in more. I don't see him uncomfortable in any position, so he may not actually get 2 weeks because, keep in mind, when he was castrated, he did already. So horses like that may not fit the criteria, but we have a number that will. Maybe I'll go over that when I go through the 2-year-old list. I'll tell everybody this horse is going to have 2 weeks of just jogging. Easiest way to do it. Now, over the next 2 weeks, I thought it would be nice because I like to mark the horses. Stake payment season is starting right now. So I want to mark the horses with an A+ through an F, I guess. I don't think I gave anybody ever an F, but an A+ through whatever, D- or maybe even F. But I'm going to get everybody to do it, right? Because James, Johnny, Jimmy, Mario, myself, even Brody, everybody gets a chance to look at these horses. So I thought it was so cool and so interesting to see the different perspective of everybody on every single horse. I think maybe we'll get a grading system. Next week we'll do grading videos for every horse, A through Z, right through the entire barn. Now, bad news is Jimmy. We knew we were going to lose Jimmy once the racing started again. So in that regard, we're happy to lose him. But next Saturday he won't be around. He has to go home. It's some stuff to do with his dad, I believe. And then he says he's free on Saturdays because there's nobody in the race office. No need for him to be in the race office on Saturdays at Mohawk. As I said before, Jimmy works at the Mohawk race office. So that job first and foremost. And then secondly, he'll work with us. So we'll have him for most Saturdays, but not next Saturday. So I will get him, although he won't be with us full time. He has seen all the horses up to now, and I think it's only fair we allow Jimmy to grade the horses also, along with myself, as I said, James, Mario, Johnny, and even Brody. So there's that. Now, in regards to the trainers this week, Kevin had So Admirable over 2-1. Broadway. Now this is Thursday. Thursday it was beautiful. We only had 5 spots. Kevin took them all. So on Thursday, Kevin went over. So Admirable 2-1. Broadway Roll 2-3, Blue Monk 2-3, Italian Grit, and Timo Houdini 2-5. He's asked for one more training trip for everybody. Fine. Now, Friday and Saturday, it was a wind tunnel. And it was cold. It was nasty, especially today. There wasn't a lot that could be done. 2.7, 2.8 with most of them. Those were good miles. Trust me, it was ferocious. Well, even if we wanted to do the drone today, we couldn't. 1, there was snow, and 2, it was high winds. There was nothing we could do. So Harry had Captain's Maid 2.8, Girls with Swirls 2.8. All his horses went around 2.8. So either Harry's bullshit me and some of them went 2.7 and other ones went 2.9. I don't know. He said he took 4 horses over plus the filly that came from PEI. They all went in 2.8, he said. So Captain's Maid, Girls with Swirls, Sweet Ambitions, Can't Muscle Me. All of them trained at Mohawk, and all of them needed at least 1, if not 2, training sessions. That's fine. Captain's Maid doesn't have a stake till almost April. We'd like to have her ready first part of March to send over and get a couple of starts at the Meadows first. So Captain's Maid will be ready. Girls with Swirls, Sweet Ambitions, Can't Muscle Me. Sweet Ambitions, a PA horse. We don't really have any PA stuff for her just yet. So Girls with Swirls and Can't Muscle Me, Ontario. We'd like to have them ready soon. 1 more training trip, and then we'll qualify them both. At the farm, I trained Braemar in 2:13, and it was so cold. That was a good mile. Friday I went with him. 2:13 off a half and 10 last half, and 1:03 last quarter, and 30 apiece. He was good. Jimmy trained. He wasn't in set 3 today, so he trained Eglaire AM 2:16. Right on track with her also. And then War We Welcome trained in 2.6 yesterday at the farm, or at the track. She's going to need probably 1 more stiff training session, and then right into qualifying for War We Welcome. Perfect record. We changed some gear with him. I went a couple of quarters with him on Friday to get him straightened away, and Jason trained him 2.8. Said he was a little soft. Not shocking. So he's going to need another training trip, likely next Saturday. And then Mario's barn. Mario said they all went strong. He said, man, 2.7, but we were at the half from 5 and 6 with all of them. There was a stiff wind in our face down the backstretch. It was a good mile for all of them, which I agree. Barbie's Crown, he said, looked great. And I said this in a video a week or 2 ago, and I said it to Mario. I said, she looks stronger. The one horse I'm certain the time off helped was Barbie's Crown. So Barbie's Crown, 2.7. Cut the Line, 2.7. Holy Chick, 2.7. And Keystone Raven, I'm missing a horse. Cut the Line, Barbie's Crown, Cut the Line, Holy Chick, Keystone Raven, all went 2.7. Maybe Chris's horse went over. He said he had 5. So those 4 all went in 2.07. So in all, we sent over 22 trainers over the last 3 days. Everybody's looking for another train trip except for Tanzanite Tricks. She's in to go Wednesday at London, and her first start back will be with Tanzanite Tricks Wednesday. Talked about the 2 weeks. I talked about I'm going to mark everybody this coming week. I was going to do it today, but I'm not going to do it today. We had a bunch of people put top 10 lists together for us. Thank you very much for James and Johnny and everybody that put together the top 10 lists. What else? We will, as I said, we'll get those markings out to you guys this week. Staking's all set up for February. That went over without a hitch. Thank you so very much. And I know I got the bad news is, I'm still waiting for all of our American checks. I don't think we got any American checks in since February 1st. So painful, but it's just something everybody has to deal with. I think we'll be able to sneak through. I hope so. And then obviously we had some people asking about sending horses to Pennsylvania, to Irv Miller, to Dover, because it seems like everybody we sold a horse to in Dover did well. So it's not shocking that people were wondering about sending more horses to Dover. I got to be honest. I think the whole Dover thing was, regardless of what took place or the information that was provided to me, clearly there were some classes there for a horse like Bottle of Red. She looked like she jogged the other day, even though I think that class was exceedingly more difficult at the Meadows. We do have the option to send them to Dover. So I talked to Jimmy, and it was decided at the time when I spoke, which was before we headed to the Meadowland sale, that this filly looked more like a claiming type filly, and I suspect she's going to find it a little more difficult up where Need Your Opinion is. Now, again, I'll reiterate, the Need Your Opinion sale was at a seller's price, quite a bit higher than Bottle of Red, so there's no concern with Need Your Opinion winning races, but Bottle of Red was much cheaper, so did hurt a little bit. I didn't expect that class to be as soft as it clearly was, but nevertheless, It is what it is, and we will all move forward. You can't worry about selling this one or selling that one. When it's done, it's done. For a long time, we hung on to a lot of horses that could have been sold, and we did not. So every horse we sold seemed to go backwards, right? And this went on for quite a while. But now that we're selling horses that are adequate, that could possibly do, but made more sense to sell them, you are going to see some of them come forward. We've seen it with Bottle of Red, Need Your Opinion. Beach Boutique won her first start, although I haven't seen her back in to go. The Trotter didn't look so good his first two starts. Jesse Balboa, that's the way it goes. So, sending and selling horses, what do we have here? A lot of people ask, what about like Braemar? What about Captain's Made? Do those horses need to go over? No, keep in mind, this is February of their sophomore season. Horses that we're hoping are stakes caliber horses. We skipped the first sire stakes, the first staking early closer, I guess, which starts March 4th. We do have Won My Heart Hanover and Fairly Fringes in. Those horses never raced before, right? The next one, and that's for 3 and 4 year olds. The one after that, which starts right after it, is only for 3 year olds. That's what we're aiming for the most part, for Aglaria and Braemar and Captain's Made. We don't need them ready any sooner. This is a long year. And I know everybody's hungry right now. I get it. I am too. But we don't want to cut off our nose to spite our face, so to speak. We don't want to have them all ready just to have them ready right now, because you will pay that toll at some point, and it will be later on in the summer when, if they are good, we're going to need them to be good, and they will get tired. So need to stick to the plan and make sure that we have our horses ready at the right time. I'm happy with what I've seen so far from Captain's Made, Braemar, and Aglaria. Those horses will be ready for the 3-year-old series in Pennsylvania. Not the first one, the second one. All 3 of them will be ready. We'll race Won My Heart Hanover and Fairly Fringes in the first one. You might say, well, Anthony, geez, that's still a lot of starts for those fillies. They need that experience also. So, little bit different situation when you talk about the first 3 that we're training down. Those horses had significant starts at 2 for the most part, whereas Won My Heart and the other filly had none for the most part. So that is where we're at with the horses leaving. Who else is there in Pennsylvania or in Ontario to go? Not really that many at all. I know that Tim's sending Donover back here. Brave World might make his way back here. We're going to bring him in from the field this week, train him up. At the time that he has to qualify, I'll likely be over there racing those fillies, so I'll get a look at him, and if it's decided that he needs to come home, then he's a horse we definitely can switch gears with and bring home. So that's where we're at right now. We talked about which horses will be sent, just a little recap, which horses could be sent to Pennsylvania and when they will be sent. I guess it's fair to reiterate again, the Ohio horses will be heading back to Ohio, I think, to get finished off and make their first start. We were planning on racing them here in Ontario, but it may not be possible now, so they may make their first start in Ohio. Jason is heading back first part of March. We have horses for the Hackett that would have been racing right now. We have horses that we're trying to get prepped and ready to go, and just need to make sure that, 1, we're on a good track, 2, we get them qualified in a space they're comfortable with, which Northfield Park, they were stabled at last year. Just made a ton of sense. Jason and I talked about it, kicked it around quite a bit. The lockdown just lasted too long here, and it changed everything we were trying to do. So the Ohio 3-year-olds, except for Rose Run Why Not and Miss Meringue, they won't be ready for another 2 weeks after Jason leaves. So 6 or 7 of them will go with Jason right away. He'll pick up Rooney Blue Chip when he gets back to Northfield Park. Those 2 fillies will join him after that. I could see Jason having maybe 10 to 12 horses leading into June when all the other 2-year-olds begin to arrive. So, the sending horses, the selling horses, we talked about that. I don't want to touch on that too much. Regardless, how the horses did when we sold them. Yeah, some horses went forward and they will continue to go forward in the future. You can't sell 50 horses and all 50 be no good. It's just impossible. And if it was, there'd be some questions, and there'd be some very difficult questions to answer. So when it comes to selling horses, sure, some of the horses are going to go forward. Staking, we have our staking under control for February 15th. I'm happy with what I saw. Yes, I wish the mail moved a little quicker, and I will be first one to the mailbox both Tuesday through Friday, but I'm okay with what I've seen so far. The babies, in regards to the babies, 2 weeks, we're going to give them 2 weeks of jogging. Horses that are running in or running out, fine. Hit the caution button, put them in neutral and just let them jog for 2 weeks. I think that makes way more sense than continuing to push on. Again, we change and tailor the way we train these horses because we learn things every year, right? You guys think back last year, we had horses that did have OCDs, did chip bones, did need time off all last year. It all worked out for the most part, but we want to be able to avoid that whenever we can. I think the way that we're training right now is perfect. We made the adjustments we needed from 2020 to 2021, and I think we have a much stronger burn because of it. As far as racing, thank God it is back. We trained 22 horses at Mohawk this week. Our first starter will be Tanzanite Tricks Wednesday at London. Will she be tight? Probably not, but she will be present. 6-horse field and a maiden at London. Let's aim to beat one and see what we can do after that. So that's where we're at right now. All the congratulations belongs to our clients that were patient, same as everybody in Ontario. And this is particularly for us because we are in Ontario. We would have been racing in Ontario. I feel terrible for my partners on horses like Watch Avenue, Zeb Sunshine, Cambridge Star, horses that we had to shed simply because they could have done in London and Flamborough, but not where they were at. So that's unfortunate, but that is what we have to deal with. And these are the new stresses that I have to deal with of 2021 is changing on the fly. Trying my best to make sound judgments and decisions that don't impact you guys in a negative way. I would say some of them were failures and others were not. But nevertheless, we work hard and do the best we can. So thank you all for the kind words all week, and very happy that you were all happy with the top 10 lists that were done by James, Mario, Johnny, Jimmy, and Brody, Amy, and myself. Very happy that you guys found that interesting. I'll get everybody a grade just so we can look back, right? I do it at Christmas time, February 15th, the week of the first stake payments that go out. Let's grade them all now. Then we'll grade them all maybe in May also and see where we were at and what descriptions we had of the horses as they head into the 2021 stake season. So that is your opening. A lot of information in there for everybody in regards to a number of things. We had staking, updates on the horses, talking about the babies, talking about how goddamn cold it is today. Whew. Anyway, I got to get some gas. I got to get some lunch for the kids. I will talk to you very soon. I hope you all had a good weekend. I know most of you did not have a warm weekend, but I hope you stayed warm in one way or another. Take care.